Hey everyone, set 3 is coming up soon, and I wanted to do a predictions video talking about certain cards and stuff that I want to see and expect to see in set 3. We're about, I believe, 3 weeks away. It's going to be coming at the end of this month, and we kind of know that it's going to be very focused on the Omens, and we're here on the original website for Shadowverse. This was set 10, Omen of the 10. This was the first time that Shadowverse had created a new group of characters for Shadowverse. Originally, of course, most of the characters and cards were from Rage of Bahamut, and they had a couple brand new characters, like all of the leaders, and Feline was actually a Shadowverse original character. But this set, this was the 10th set for Shadowverse Original, gave us 10 completely new characters with kind of lore and stuff like that. Very popular characters. I would say the most successful group of new characters to me, and very beloved by the community. So we're going to kind of talk about each character, and we're going to go through all of their old cards and talk about how maybe they can translate that into this new game, Worlds Beyond. So I hope you'll enjoy the video, and let me know which Omen you're most excited for. I think I'm most excited for Octris. We're going to get into all of them, of course, here. But Octris, of course, was the sword one, and I really like her design and everything. But before we get to the video, if you guys are liking Shadowverse content and stuff like that, this is the best place to watch. I do a lot of content and videos on this game, and hope you stick around. We also have a really bumpin' Discord that's going on. We're really growing that Discord community. Very nice people in there, so I'm going to leave a link to that Discord in the description below, and I hope you'll join. But let's get on to the video. So this, of course, is the original Shadowverse website for Omen of the 10, and they show all of the 10 characters. So back in the day, of course, in Shadowverse 1, there was 8 classes? Yeah, 8 classes. Bro, I'm already so deep into Worlds Beyond. I'm like, how many classes? So it's 8 classes, so it was 1 Omen for each class, and then we got 2 legendaries. So let's talk about the first. We'll talk about the neutral legendaries first. So Jerry Majerabane, we call him Jerry. He was the Omen of 1. All of the Omens are based on numbers and sort of themes. You'll kind of see. So Jerry was Omen of 1, and he was the Highlander sort of commander type card. And what he did was he gave you a crazy effect if you only had a singular card of each card. So his original card was 5-drop 4/4. If there are no duplicate cards in your deck except Jerry, give your leader the following effect. So this would be a crest, right? At the end of your turn, if only 1 allied follower is in play, give it +2/+2, or give +2/+2 to a random ally, but that's the only ally. Deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower, then deal 2 damage to the enemy leader. So he was not good, but kind of annoying to play against, in my opinion. I really did not like this guy. Very, very fan favorite, though. A lot of people like the singleton type decks and stuff. So definitely Jerry is very popular. Since Jerry is the Omen of 1, he actually did not have any supporting cards. Most of all of the Omens, or actually every Omen except Jerry, had supporting cards that will kind of cover, but Jerry was unique in that he was just the one, right? Another aspect of the Omens is they all have specific special weapons. So Jerry's weapon was Enlightenment. That was his sword. And they actually turned those weapons into cards in Shadowverse Evolved, the physical game, which was pretty cool. I'd love to see those weapons come back as cards in Worlds Beyond. But that's Jerry. That's the first neutral card. And then the other neutral card was Gilnelise. Gilnelise was one of my favorites. She was a neutral 7-drop 3/5 ambush with Drain. And on play, she's going to give 2 attack to all other allied followers. And then at the start of your turn, if this is your 10th turn or later, both players draw 5 cards. So she was used very primarily in mid-range Shadow. At that time, she was used a little bit in Sword as well, just because, you know, board-based deck, right? But I really like how she was designed to be a mid-range and control just value card, right? Because she does everything, right? She buffs your board. She's going to be ambushed, so she's hard to deal with. And she has Drain to heal some, right? And then she has some card draw. Another thing I forgot to mention, which I won't really be covering in this video, because I think they will be more based on their original designs, card-wise, but later on, they made another set that reintroduced the Omens, and those cards were crazy. Those are, like, very nuts. Gildan Elise, the second Gildan Elise was very basic and very broken, you know. So we won't really be covering those. I think they're going to stick to the original design and probably tweak some things. But I kind of just want to introduce the characters and show you guys what, you know, maybe could happen with these cards, right? So that's Gildan Elise. Gildan Elise also had a couple friends she brought along. So Apostle of Craving was this dragon. And he was going to do give 3 attack to something and give follow strike, deal 3 damage. So basically you gain 3 attack and deal 3 damage. This card was never played. It was really bad. But Craving Splendor was a really good card. This card was like low-key pretty nuts. So 3-drop, give a follower +4 attack, then deal 4 damage to that follower. So you can buff something on your field by a lot, right? If it has more than 4 health, it gives it 4 attack, right? And then you could also use this to just remove something for 4 damage, right? This card was really good. It was good in a lot of ambush decks, like Leod back in the day for Sword. But this is just a really good card. So Gildan Elise is coming in with 2 support cards. But yeah, she's very fan favorite. I like her. She's probably my second favorite. And yeah, so that was the neutrals. She's the number 10 as well down here. She uses the weapon, the Glyceray. It's like the orbs and stuff around her. She's really cool. I like her a lot. So let's go by class order now. So let's do Izudia. He is the Omen of Unkilling. So Izudia was a 10-drop. And what he did, he was for 4s. 10-drop, 6/6. On play, change the enemy leader's max health to 6. Very cool idea. Unfortunately, was just way, way, way too slow. I think a great comparison to this card right now is Rose Queen, right? Because it's like a card where you have to play this, and then you have to do something else the next turn, and you're kind of playing a do-nothing turn, right? And also, when you read this card, if you think of modern Shadowverse, you think, oh, there has to be a way to cost reduce him, right? No, there's not. This card was just really bad. He was kind of funny in... there was this deck that I tried. It was really bad, but when Odin came out, the second Odin, he invoked and he was Storm. So the theory was you go, play Izudia, send him to 6, and Odin comes out and you evo him and you deal 6 damage. Terrible, but kind of fun. But yeah, Izudia is the Omen of Unkilling. So all of his support cards weren't played too much, but they were all about giving your opponent's followers minus attack. So the Servant gave something -1 attack. The Disciple gave something -4. And then the Apostle gave you a spell. So he didn't even do minus attack at all. He gave you a spell. What? This is so bizarre. 1 play point or less from your deck to your hand. At the end of your turn, restore defense to your leader. Equal the number of enemy. Oh, okay. So you heal based on the number of enemy followers. This whole archetype was garbage. Unfortunately, this whole archetype was terrible. Just really, really bad. In Shadowverse Evolved, the physical game, they actually made these guys really cool. I really, really love the Hunter archetype. They kind of made them into this Hunter, like, mid-range archetype. It was very fun. I really liked that version of Izudia and his friends. But unfortunately, just not very good. We also have a spell that's banish something with 0 attack or less, and then you draw a card. So kind of interesting, and then for 6 you can banish anything. So, you know, kind of cool, but still not playable. So that was Forest. For Izudia, I do think he could come in and do something similar. Change your leader's max health to 6, or your opponent's max health to 6 or something, but maybe make it a little cheaper. I mean, they could probably put this card in, make it 8 cost, and it would still be unplayable, but like, well, would it be unplayable? Maybe it wouldn't be unplayable. I don't know. Hey, I don't know what they're going to do with Azudia. I honestly don't know what they're going to do with Azudia. But I hope he's good. I hope he's good. Because Force needs help outside of Roach, right? Next, we have Octra. She is, of course, the sword omen. She's the number 8. And she has the weapon Avaritia. I always thought that weapon was really cool named. I really like her design. She's definitely one of my favorite omens. Probably one of my favorite Shadowverse original characters. It'd be cool if she was a leader, honestly. But she was, if Azudia was an L, Octress was a W. She was a really strong card for Sword. Sword, of course, at the time is sort of similar to how our Sword is right now, where it's just this like collection of really strong, high-value cards. So what Octress did was she was a 3-drop 2/3, and then on play, she's going to basically steal a last words effect from an enemy. So she removes the last words, and then she gains it, which I think is really cool. Then on 8, she's going to get +2/+2, and the ability to evolve for 0 play points, or evo points, and then she's going to recover 2 play points. So she becomes a 6 mana 4/5 that free evos. And then on evo, she gave you these tokens in your hand. It was the Gilded Blade, 1-drop, deal 1 damage to an enemy follower. Goblet, 1-drop, deal heal 2 to an ally. Boots, which was give rush to an allied follower. And then the necklace, which gave +1/+1 to an allied follower. So the usurpation cards were all about these tokens that you get, and you get value from playing them. So then we have the Servant of Usurpation. This card was a nutty 2-drop back in the day. 2-drop 1/1, Clash, gain +1/+1, and then randomly put one of the following cards into your hand, and it was those tokens, right? So you're going to get like kind of resources, and they have to swing in. They can't swing in with a 1-attack thing, right? So it's basically a 2/2. Really loved this guy. I love this guy. Then we had the Spine Blade, 2 mana, deal 3 damage to a follower and gain one of the tokens. Then we had Disciple. Disciple was kind of weak. Ambush, and then on strike you get one of them. And then she also gained health if you play a loot card, which were those tokens, right? And then lastly, one of the best cards of this package, the Apostle of Usurpation. 5-drop 4/5, on play, deal 1 damage to an enemy. Then you gain randomly one of those tokens. And then whenever you play a loot card, you deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower. So on 6, this was a, you dealt 3 damage to something. Back in the day, that was good. Nowadays, right? But, yeah, so Octress, I think, could just come in as she is. She steals some last words and stuff. Maybe we see the tokens, I don't know. But I do think she's going to be one of the better cards. And I hope she is very similar to this. I really liked stealing last words. There was a lot of really crazy last words that ran around back in the day. And I liked that there was an option to deal with those, right? So, because there wasn't too much banish back in the day. So, yeah, that is Octress, my favorite Omen. And I hope she is pretty good. Then we move on to the Rune Omen. Ryo, he is number 9. He is the Omen of Truth. And he was pretty meh. I don't really even know how popular he is. But he could be interesting if they literally just put him in how he works right now, right? He's a 7-drop 7/7. Fanfare, spell boost all the cards in your deck 9 times. Kind of interesting, right? Like, you play him down, and then for the rest of the game, all of your cards get pre-spell boosted, basically. And I think he would be pretty cool right now in the game. I don't even think he'd be, like, too broken. So they could literally just port him in immediately. I do like his simple but pretty good design, right? Can't say he was ever, like, amazing. There was this spell boost Solomon deck in the later state. It was a mini expansion for Steel Rebellion, I believe. And I think he saw a play in there a little bit. But other than that, nah, right? But what he did bring, he brought 2 of his good old pals. So, Truth's Education, this card was nuts. 6-drop spell, summon a Guardian Golem, and give it +X/+X. Deal Y damage to enemy leader, and restore Z defense to your leader. X, Y, and Z equals the number of times this card has been spell boosted, split randomly between those three. So let's go gambling, right? But this card was so good because no matter what you hit, you're going to be getting something good, right? You're either going to be completely doming them and just nuking them, right? Or you're going to heal, or you're going to make a giant guy. Truth Education was really strong, actually, in a lot of decks. These other cards, I don't think I've literally ever read in my life. Servant of Truth. 7-drop, 3/5 on play, deal 4 damage to enemy follower. Accelerate 2, deal 2 damage to enemy follower. That's terrible. Disciple of Truth, 1-drop, or 3-drop, 3/3. Accelerate 1, restore 1 defense to your leader. Fanfare, restore 1 student. And then Apostle of Truth. Fanfare, discard a card with spell boost from your hand, then put a random card with spell boost that originally cost more than the discarded card from your deck into your hand. Spell boost X equals the amount of times the discarded card had been spell boost. Kind of interesting design. That card's pretty cool. But the other two are terrible. But he did bring, this was not from the set, but I do have to mention, he did bring, let me just bring this up over here. One of probably top 5 Rune cards of each era, right? Of all time. Zealot of Truth. 9 mana. It's actually 0. 3/5. Spell boost, subtract 1 from the cost of this card. Storm. Yeah. I mean, this card is... Everyone that's been playing against spell boost knows how crazy this card would be, right? Don't really need to explain that. But that was not actually in Omen of the 10. That was in the next set, Ultrasphere. But I did kind of want to bring that up. So next, so that was Ryo. Pretty interesting. I could see either way we're going to be getting more spell boost support. So probably not. There's probably people that are not excited about that. But I don't know. That spell boost is just a big part of the game. Hopefully we see maybe some balance adjustments here soon before set 3, because I do think there just needs to be a little bit of maintenance on some of these cards right now. So that was Ryo. Next we have the Dragon Omen. When I say popular, I mean like extremely popular. Omen of Disdain Galmu. She is like a dragon person. She's like a wormkin type thing. And her weapon, I forgot to, what is Ryo's weapon? Oh, Honest Cohort. Yeah, I love that name. Honest Cohort. Like, that's an insano name. That's what'd you get killed by? The Honest Cohort, But yeah, Galmu's was the total domination. And she was probably the best Omen. Let me just do like a look around again. I think that she was just the best Omen. Lashena was pretty good too. We'll get to her later. But so let's talk about Galmu. In my head, for me, she made the most iconic dragon deck for me. The Disdain sort of ramp dragon. So her whole idea is hitting your own guys for effects. So she was a 5-drop 5/5. When this follower takes damage during your turn, if it is not destroyed, evolve it. And then for enhanced 7, so you can play her for 7, you deal 1 damage to all followers. So that includes your own guys and her. So she basically auto-evolves, right? Then she has once each turn, when this follower takes damage, if it's not destroyed, deal 3 damage to a random enemy follower, and then 3 damage to the enemy leader. So insane amounts of removal, right? You can just kind of think about how much removal that is, right? Because it's you get the 1, then she auto-evolves into a 5/5/5/4 at that point, right? So you swing her in, and then if she lives, she deals 3 damage to something else, right? So she's just doing a ton of damage. What if I told you, when she released, there was not a once per turn part of that text? So yeah, Galmu is very, very strong. Unfortunately, and something that's interesting is she's come back, I believe, twice. She came back the 1 time for sure. But the thing about the Disdain deck is the power of it is made up in its support. So let's talk about the bronzes and silvers. Very iconic cards here. Servant of Disdain, 2-drop 2/2, so fighter, right, fully statted. Whenever this follower takes damage and is not destroyed, draw a card. Obviously, Dragon's big issue right now is card draw. Kind of got fixed a little bit in this set, right? But it is still just like awkward stuff, like the 2/2 with a Super Evolve, or the 1/1 if you're an Overflow. This card was really good, especially paired with Disciple of Disdain, 1-drop 1/1. If another allied follower is in play, deal 1 damage to that follower and draw a card. So on 3, you could go Servant, Disciple, and draw 2 cards. Right? So very good, especially when you think of it as a ramp deck, right? You are trying to have this early game bodies and stuff to get to the end game with your ramp and stuff, right? So this Servant and Disciple were really strong. Then we have the Apostle of Disdain. She was not played nearly as much. She was a 4-drop 1/5 Storm. Whenever this follower takes damage, if this follower is not destroyed, gain +2 attack. That was mostly just an issue because you had to combo like a self-damage card with this card, right? All of these other cards are just good by themselves, right? Like Servant is a 2-drop 2/2, and if it gets hit for 1 damage, you draw a card, right? But there's one more card that Gamu brought to the party. For a very long time, this is my opinion. I'd love to do a video on all of this stuff. I think I will eventually, like best cards ever and stuff. At the time when this was released, Disdainful Rending was the best card in the game. 1-drop, deal 1 damage to an allied follower, deal 3 damage to an enemy follower. 1 mana dealing 3 damage was so huge back then. Even just like having that effect, it's like, whoa. And every time after, when this effect was printed, literally just 1 mana deal 3, I always was like, this card has to be good in some fashion because it like hits up so much mana, right? Because most 3 health things are coming out on turn 3. This is 1 mana. And right now, or at that time, in this original game, all the deal 3 damage cost 2 mana, right? So this card was insane. But then you combo it with the fact that you can literally be drawn with Servant of Disdain or free evoing with Gamu on 6. And dealing 3 damage. Disable Rending, very strong card. In my opinion, one of the best cards. The best card for me at that time. Until Kel came out, basically. But yeah, very strong card. And yeah, Gamu, you can see, is a very strong package, the Disdain package in general. But I will say she is very dependent on her package, right? So I think that if the Omens only come in by themselves, I think she could suffer. But if we do get the folks and the friends of the Omens in, I think she's going to be really good. So Dragon players, stay excited. Next, we move on to, we'll cover the Shadow one first, but of course, Shadow and Blood were combined, right? So I do believe Abyss will get Valneric and Rule Knight, but let's cover Rule Knight first. Rule Knight, Omen of Silence, he was the 3rd Omen, and his weapon is the Thunderous Roar. Very toxic Evolve card, by the way. His card in Evolve was really, really nasty. So let's bring these up here. And then this one. So, Rule Knight was a 3-drop 3/3. On play, Necromancy 3. Until the start of your next turn, add 3 to the original cost of spells in your opponent's hand. And it only affects cards in hand at that time, right? So a little bit like Feline, right? He was not amazing, but I actually used him in a lot of tournaments because at that time the 3 best decks, or 3 to 4 best decks were like Shadow, Mysteria, which was like kind of a more board-based spell boost deck, and then Sword and Dragon, right? So you could kind of use this as like a one of, where they see your deck and like, oh shoot, I cannot rely on the and sorcery in Mysterio, which was the way to kill your opponent on turn 10. So I just have to be a little aware of that, right? Did it come up? Not really. I don't think this card was that amazing. And none of the real silence cards were that good either. Silent Purge was basically a silence effect, funny enough. Disciple of Silence was actually not too bad. She was a 3-drop 1/4, so kind of okay statted card. And then on Enhanced 6, she became a 4/7. And then on Clash, she was going to give the enemy follower -2 attack if it had Rush or Storm. So kind of cute little like tech, right? Servant of Silence was not good at all because she was a vanilla, and then she only did something on Enhanced 6. And then Apostle of Silence, just too niche, like destroy a card with Ward. Like, I don't know, that's too much. It definitely felt like the Silence archetype, they didn't know where to go with it, and they probably thought that having too many cards that have a silence effect would be too good, right? Like if they had a 2-drop, 3-drop, and 4-drop that all removed effects of a card, that might be too good. I could see that. But it kind of makes this like directionless archetype, and I think that's very much what Rule Knight was. Okay card for its time, but overall just not very impactful. And yeah, hopefully he becomes, he changes a little bit, right? I think he will be some silence effect type thing, or one of those like Feline type effects, right? But yeah, Rule Knight, pretty cool. Yeah, I can take or leave him, to be honest. But some people like him. Let's move on though to Blood, because Blood got a really good and really popular set of cards here. One of the better, like, full packages of cards. So, Valneric, Omen of Lust. I just realized I did not talk about Valneric's. She's numbered 8/7. She's number 7. She's Omen of Lust. What's her weapon? Embracing Wings, yeah. So, Valneric was a 3-drop 1/3. If Wrath is active, so Wrath was a keyword they added later on, but originally this card, and then what they turned Wrath into, was just, if you've hit yourself on your turn 7 times, Wrath is active, or whatever, right? So, that is Wrath. If Wrath is active for you, gain +1/+1 end Storm, and destroy an enemy follower. At the start of your opponent's turn, if your leader took damage during your previous turn, gain +1/+1. So this card did a lot. This was played in one of the most iconic decks in Shadowverse history, the Dark Feast Bat, because DFB, as we abbreviate it to, dealt damage. It was an 8-drop. It got nerfed to an 8-drop. That dealt damage to the enemy leader, based on the amount of times you've hit yourself on your turn, right? So Valneric was this really strong, obviously a little bit of damage pushing, but also control. That deck was really interesting because it was kind of a control deck, but it tried to get some damage in and end the game relatively fast. But Valneric was a very big part of that deck being viable. And I think she's going to easily slot in to an aggro Abyss type deck. I wouldn't even be surprised if they bring Wrath back as a keyword. Blood, of course, is missing a lot of keywords, right? But Valneric's very popular. One of the better ones. I would say probably the second best one. I think Galmu is the best one, and then Valneric. I don't know. Who cares? This is from a meta from 6 years ago. So, yeah. But Valneric's very good. Valneric's very strong. So, yeah. And then her friends, Servant of Lust, 2-drop 4/2, right? So that's really overstated. But on play, he's going to hit you once. And then during your turn, whenever this follower attacks the enemy leader, restore 2 defense to both leaders after damage is dealt. So basically the way he worked was he's a 2-drop 4/2. You swing, but then the opponent leader heals 2. So you basically only take 2, but then you heal 2, right? So kind of give or take, right? And if you try to trade into this guy, he's still 4 attack, right? So very cool. Then we have the Disciple of Lust, 1-drop 1/1. Strike, deal 1 damage to your leader, and then last words, deal 1 damage to the opponent's leader. So there's a ton of like damage and just, you know, stacking onto that Wrath effect. Then we had Wings of Lust. This was a card. 2-drop spell. Give +2/+2 to an allied follower. That follower gains the following effect. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to your leader and this follower. Then on Enhance 4, you give Drain to that follower. So, of course, you were normally trying to equip this to Valneric, right? Because on 5, you go play Valneric, pop something, buff her to a 4/6, basically, at that point, and then pass, and she becomes a 5/7 at the start of your opponent's next turn. And, of course, you could combo this later on, or just on 4 if you have a guy sitting there with some really good heal. So I really loved this style of deck. There was just a lot of stuff you could do, and Wings of Lust was a very strong card. Then we had Apostle Lust. Kind of meh, you know, he was a 5-drop 5/4, deal 2 damage to your leader, and draw 2 cards. Then deal 1 damage to the enemy leader, and your opponent draws 1 card. So, yeah, we kind of already had some deal damage and draw card effects already. And this guy's very similar to the 5-drop 4/4 we have in the game right now, so I wouldn't really expect him to you know, get in. Not that any of these cards are going to get in word for word, bar for bar, but who knows. So that was Valneric. Then we have Haven. Haven got the Repose cards. Let's bring those up. Realm Repose, Disciple, and then Apostle. So Marwyn was the Omen of Repose. He was number 4. His weapon was the Saviors. And another card that I have a lot of fond memories from, Evolve. And so he was all about like not swinging stuff. So we'll kind of read some of his cards. So his normal or his you know, him 4-drop 4/4. On play, give your opponent a play point orb. Subtract 1 from the countdown of all enemy amulets. Restore 1 defense to the enemy leader. Your opponent draws a card. Then you gain empty play point orb, subtract 1 from the countdown of all allied amulets, restore 1 defense to your leader, and draw a card. So you basically accelerated the game by 1 turn. Very cool card idea. I really liked him. And then on Evolve, he's going to get this effect that he cannot take more than 3 damage at a time. So kind of interesting, right? But this was really used in Unlimited in Seraph Haven. And Seraph Haven, of course, was originally Seraph was this amulet that after 4 turns, basically, you win the game. It literally says you win the game, right? So he was used to like accelerate the game up to that point where you could play Seraph and just win the game the next turn, right? Because you accelerate the cooldown and stuff like that, right? So Marwyn, not too much play in rotation, but you know, used in a pretty strong Unlimited deck for its time. Then we have Servant of Repose. At the end of your turn, if this follower didn't attack this turn, restore 1 defense to all allies, and she has ward. Then we have we'll talk about Realm in a second, actually. So then we have Disciple of Repose, 2-drop 2/2, and then at the end of your turn, if this follower didn't attack, deal 1 damage to the enemy leader. Meh, right? And then Apostle Repose, another like not too amazing card. 4-drop 1/4 Bane that does nothing until it evolves. And at the end of your turn, if this follower didn't attack this turn, destroy a random enemy follower with the highest attack in play. But one of the stronger cards that took a little bit to recognize how good it was, Realm of Repose. So Realm of Repose was this amulet, cost 2 and it had countdown 2. At the end of your turn, if no allied followers in play, that's important because you can trade things away, right? Have attacked this turn, your leader can't take more than 3 damage at a time, and all allied Havencraft followers cannot be attacked. And these effects last until the start of your next turn. So you're able to use this card in Elena, which was a deck where you buffed your board a lot, to sort of create a checkmate board state where you Realm Repose and you just sit there and heal and buff your guys, and then once the Realm is done, you buff them again with like a Hector or something, and you swing like 20. Really strong card, and took a little bit to really recognize its full value. So that was Haven. Overall, Repose was like kind of a missed archetype, I would say, as well. Didn't do much, right? And you kind of see some of the archetypes that they had a clear idea for, like the Lust archetype and the Disdain archetype. They had a clear idea where we want to be hitting ourselves, or we want to be hitting our own guys and drawing cards and stuff. But a lot of these other bad archetypes just had no idea what they were trying to do, right? So that is Haven. Then we move on to the last one. When I say extremely popular, I mean extremely popular character in Lashena. Let me bring these up, and then we will talk about herself. So Lashena, she was number 2. Omen of Destruction. She was an idol. I feel like she might be even more popular nowadays because of she's very VTuber-like. She looks like a VTuber. As someone that is not into VTuber or doesn't watch VTubers, she looks like a VTuber. Anyway, so she was the Omen of Destruction, number 2, and her weapon was Destruction in white and black, and we'll see those in a second. She was in Portal, right? So she was a 4-drop 1/4, Bane, can't be destroyed by effects. On Evolve, you put a Destruction in white and into your hand, and she still has the effect can't be destroyed. So what is Destruction in white? Destruction in white is a 10-drop amulet that whenever an allied follower is destroyed, you subtract 1 from the cost of this card. So obviously you paired this with puppets, right? Because that's just an easy way to destroy your own things. On play, get a Destruction in black. And then this amulet cannot be destroyed by effects. And then at the start of your turn, restore 2 defense to your leader. So once you get this in play, you're going to be healing 2 every turn. Then we have Destruction in black. 10 drop, same effect, where whenever something dies, it subtracts 1 from the cost. Then when you play it, at the start of your turn, deal 5 damage to all enemies, including the face. Then if an allied Destruction in white is in play, deal 10 damage instead. So this was a win condition, of course, that you tried to get to. So you play Lashena on 4 or 5, your first Evo turn. Evo, get your card. Then you're going to be trying to destroy as many of your own things as possible. Get the 2 amulets down, and then start clearing the board. And basically after 2, maybe 3 if they heal turns, you win the game from the AoE effect, right? Very cool card. Probably one of my more favorite Portal archetypes. And she's very popular. I'm sure she is going to get a leader, actually. I would bet that she gets a leader. And I hope that she is almost identical. I think she would be a very cool puppet win condition. I don't think she'd be too good at artifacts just because, they don't get a ton of bodies on board and stuff. But I really love this card, and I think she will be pretty good in the new game. That's Destruction. What? That's Destruction black. Then we had Disciple of Destruction, very similar to a Shadow card, Demon Eater. This was destroy another allied Portalcraft follower or Portalcraft amulet without countdown. Then draw 2 cards. So a lot of these other cards can't be destroyed by effects. So you can, like you play Lashena, right? She can't be destroyed by effects. You can play him and target Lashena and still draw 2 cards, which is pretty cool interaction, right? Then we had Apostle of Destruction, destroy another allied puppet, Portalcraft follower or amulet without countdown. Put a copy of that card into your hand and subtract 3 from its cost. So this was a way to get a second copy of those expensive Destruction in white and black. Not really used much because that's just kind of gimmicky. You always, most of the time, win no matter what anyway after the second one. Or after you get both of them down, right? Then we have Servant of Destruction, destroy another allied Portalcraft follower or amulet without countdown, and then deal 3 damage to a random enemy follower. Didn't see much play. Then we have Destructive Refrain. Destroy an allied Portalcraft follower or amulet without countdown. Deal X damage to all enemy followers. X equals the cost of that card. So, of course, all of the Destruction in white and black were 10 costs. So you could play this on your amulets and deal the board, and then it was a way to get tempo back from kind of having a slow turn if you have to play out your amulets before they're like 0, right? And yeah, that was the Destruction archetype. One of the longest lasting archetypes, I would say. She popped up in almost every meta as like some sort of playable deck or tech card or whatever, right? And yeah, but that was the Omens of the 10. Very popular characters. I'm excited for them to come out, and I'm just excited to see what we could get for new effects and stuff as well, like how they're going to translate some of these cards into the new game. I hope that they stick to the original design as much as possible, but we could see some massive changes. Of course, we saw Ligma just be completely changed, right? Lamaga, and some other cards like that be like pretty different, but we'll see. I mean, the whole set is most likely going to be centered around them. Yeah, I'm very excited. Let me know if you guys are excited as well. This was kind of a long video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know there's a lot of people that did not play Shadowverse 1 a lot, or did not play Shadowverse 1 at this time. So I hope you guys enjoyed the characters and stuff. And yeah, hope you guys have a good one, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.